Would you like to improve your writing? Well, in this month's language article, we have some tips for how to do that. And Linda is here to help us discuss this. And Linda, you are a writer,
I am.
right? And so you have experience in that. So we're great to have you here. Linda, which of the 9 steps mentioned in our article do you find most helpful?
Well, I really think the first one is helpful on being concise. And they mention a book, Strunk and White's Elements of Style. And actually, that book was introduced to me very early on. One of my early English teachers, she cited that book as, kind of like the Bible of writing. And so I've known that book for a long time. And one of their important points is just to keep it concise. Don't try to, write really flowery or elaborate sentences. Try to keep it simple. Also, be clear. Like when you're writing, it's so important to be clear. Like make sure what you're trying to say gets written and, the reader doesn't have to search for the meaning in your writing.
All right, so be clear and concise. Well, let's discuss creative writing. Although our article maybe doesn't really get into that too much, it is a topic worth mentioning and discussing. What do you think can help a person become more creative in their writing? Because you mentioned, or we talked about being concise and to the point, but then creative writing kind of takes maybe a bit of a different skill.
Right. Yeah, you kind of have to be more imaginative or, to tap into that right brain more. And you can be better at creative writing by also losing that fear of perfection. Oftentimes when we're writing, we want it to be perfect. We want it to sound really great and to be really good writing. But when you first start off, just start writing. Anything that comes to your head, just get it on paper or on the computer screen, whatever you're using. Get your ideas out there and just let that fear go. You don't have to be perfect. You'll have time to edit it or, fix it later on, but just get your ideas out.
I think one important tip for writing is that we should read more, and that will help us in our writing. And I think this is very true for creative writing as well. Maybe read some fiction stories, some fiction books, and that will help us kind of get into that mindset of what creative writing looks like.
Exactly.
Well, what can be one of the most difficult things for you, Linda, when it comes to writing?
Well, we've all heard of writer's block, which, I think most of us have experienced. And so sometimes it's getting that inspiration to write that makes it difficult to even start writing. Or even just to sit down. For me, it's like sitting down and starting the writing process. Because I'll have all of these thoughts and ideas in my head, but then sitting down and just getting it on paper.
That's right. Really good points. We can all relate to that. And not just with writing and other areas of life, just starting something can be difficult, but that's important.
Make that first step.
Right. All right. Well, thanks for joining us for this segment of Insights. And this is a really important article. I think you'll find it helpful. We hope you check it out.